Intermarriage of the male of one pregnancy with the female of another had been in practice among Adam's children. Abel wanted to marry Cain's sister, but Cain wanted her for himself because she was very beautiful. Adam ordered him to give her in marriage to his brother, but he refused. So Adam ordered both of them to offer a sacrifice, then went to Mecca to perform the pilgrimage. After Adam had left, they offered their sacrifices. Abel offered a fat lamb, he was a shepherd, while Cain offered a bundle of the worst grain. A fire descended and devoured Abel's sacrifice, leaving that of Cain, so he became angry and said, "I will surely kill you so that you will not marry my sister." Abel replied, "God accepts from those who fear him." According to Abu Ja'far al-Bakr, Adam was watching their offering and was sure that Abel's sacrifice would be accepted. Cain complained to Adam that the acceptance was due to his supplication for Abel and that he had not done the same for him, so he promised his father to settle the matter between himself and his brother. One night, Abel was late returning from tending his flock. Adam sent Cain to see what had happened to him. When he found him, he glared at him saying, "Yours was accepted, and mine was not." Abel replied, "God only accepts from the God-fearing." Cain became angry on hearing this and hit him with a piece of iron that was with him, thus killing him. In another version it was said that he killed him with a rock to the head while he was sleeping. God says in his glorious book, "Then God sent a crow digging up the earth, hollowing the earth out as if searching for something, so that he might show him how he should cover his brother's dead body," signifying the ugly state of his brother after his death, who would become a fetid corpse or food to predators, which he would hate for him. Apparently, this ayah clarifies that Cain was naive and inexperienced, as he had no on-the-ground experience that introduces him to things, and there were no other educational means that teach man how to react to his private issues. Some interpreters suggest that Abel was the first to die among the people, and this small community was not acquainted with such an incident, which deprived Abel of the ability to know how to deal with his brother's death, until God sent down a crow to make a hole in the ground, bury the dead crow in it, and then refill the hole with the excavated dirt. All this took place while Abel was watching. Other interpreters, whether as their own opinion, interpreting a text or depending on previous narrations, said that God sent down two crows, one was dead and the other was alive, or they were both alive but they fought until one of them killed the other, so the alive one dug a hole in the ground and buried the dead one in it. It is narrated that Ja'far as-Sadiq said that after Cain had killed his brother, he did not know what to do with the body to prevent the wild beasts from devouring it, so he carried him in a bag on his back until God sent the two crows, who fought until one of them killed the other, and the killer dug a hole in the ground and buried the dead one in it, and then covered the hole with dirt. If this tradition turned to be authentic, then it signifies that this issue is a matter of divine intervention, for God inspired the crow to do what birds are not used to. And perhaps this is backed by God saying, he said, "Woe me! Do I lack the strength that I should be like this crow and cover my brother's dead body?" Just as the crow had done. Whatever the scenario was, Cain figured out from the crow's experience how to dig up the earth and fill up the hole back with dirt, which exposed him to the idea of burial, through which he can keep his brother's corpse away from predators or prevent it from turning into a fetid cadaver. So, he said, "Woe me!" Expressing his deepest shame or distress. Do I lack the strength that I should be like this crow, that tiny crow who is familiar with what I am not familiar with, and who knows how to act and run its affairs with full knowledge and expertise, while I stand there watching it, unable to do this simple act that needs not any deep knowledge or complicated thinking, and cover my brother's dead body? Bury him in the ground to protect him from predators or prevent his fetid smell from spreading. So he became of those who regret. He regretted committing such a crime after detaching himself from the impulsive ambience emanating from the complex of envy, which intrigued him to kill his own brother unjustly, aggressively, and without having committed any fault against him. Actually, this made him realize the size of what he had done through all the negative outcomes at the levels of this world and the hereafter. Perhaps, the reason of his feeling of remorse was fearing that his parents might know what he had committed or the like. This short story that the book relates to us in the form of a short dialogue exemplifies the vital image of man's evil and good characters, to attach us to the idea of the good and keep us away from that of evil, in a situation that reveals to both the beholder and listener the atrocious stand of one person in comparison with the sublime stand of the other. We notice that the crime had no just justifications and grounds, nay, it was the outcome of an unhealthy psychological state plagued with envy, as the victim did not commit any fault. Reveal that the victim did not turn the fact that his offering was accepted while his brother's was not into an opportunity to boast and show off in a way that offends his brother's dignity, as any winner would do before any loser, for the victim's morals was way far from such attitude. Perhaps the value of this story lies in the psychological detest it infuses in the reader's or listener's soul against the crime and the murderer, and in the spiritual compassion with the victim, which leaves an impact on the general human behavior in the deeds one wants to do or the deeds of others he would judge. This story included a number of benefits and lessons. First, fear of God and sincerity of intention towards Him in word and deed is the basis of acceptance with God. Second, people in every time and place have the righteous and the ungodly wicked. Abel represents the class of the righteous, and Cain represents the class of the ungodly wicked. Third, if the vice of envy takes hold in the soul and is rooted in it, it will lead to destruction and beautify it for transgression, aggression, sin and tyranny, and in this story we see this meaning quite clear. The envy of Cain to Abel was at the forefront of the reasons that prompted him to kill him, and this killing by brother to brother was the first crime committed on earth. Fourth, if a person regrets the mistakes he committed, the punishment will not be lifted from him. Because this remorse is natural. It happens to many people in the aftermath of their wrongdoing. As for the remorse that lifts the punishment for a person with God, it is the one that is followed by sincere repentance, which makes a person firmly resolve not to return to what God forbade immediately or in the future, and to regret what was overlooked in the sight of God, and to return rights and grievances to those who deserve them.